Hi everybody, it's Spring with Soaps and Suds and such, and I hope that you can see this. This is soap calc. I've got a member of the group, our group, Soaping and Such, who has made soap, has no problem with dealing with lye, but soap calc, that's where, you know, she's getting mixed up a little bit because of the percentages and all that. So I thought I'd do a little video. Maybe it'll help someone out there. But if you go on the soap calc page right here, just type it in on Google. Up here at the top, you see you've got all these words up there. You're going to want to go to where it says recipe calculator. Now let's see if I can do this and hold, because I'm having to hold this. Okay, and I'm going to click that. Then it's going to bring you on this page. Let me zoom out and show you the whole page. Okay, to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up there at the type of lye. Number one, step number one. And it's already got it clicked for me, NaOH. Well, I'm using sodium hydroxide, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to move over to number two, weight of oils. Okay, are you wanting to make a pound recipe, or do you want to go by ounces or grams? For me, it seems simpler on that part to just do by the pound. But if I have a container that, you know, we figured out holds 8 ounces of soap, then you could do like 8 ounces. Then you would click whichever you want to do. It's already got pounds clicked, so I'm going to leave that on pounds. I am going to change my number here to 4. So say I want to do 4 pounds of soap, and you could do that in whatever you wanted to do, pounds, ounces, or grams. Okay, we moved over here to step number 3, the water. It automatically puts in 38%, and I'm blurring it. Let me get that back out where I can show you. Okay, I'm going to leave it at 38. I could lower it if I wanted to. You can do a water discount. That will help. If you do a water discount, it helps your soap cure quicker. So I could go like 34 or 36 or something. But I'm going to leave it at 38. Number 4, superfat. Okay. You can leave that at 5%. Me, I'm going to be moving that up to, let's see, I'm going to change that to 7% superfat. And you can go higher. Show you that. See if I can get zoomed in on there. Okay, fragrance oil, that's right. That's, you know, you go to wherever you bought it from. I buy quite a bit from Nature's Garden, and if you'll go on their page where you know, actually found the oil, the fragrance oil that you're going to use, and you scroll down the page, it will show you on their page what percentage to use in soap, what percentage to use in creams, whether it can, you know, whether it's lip safe. It will show you all of that stuff. So that percentage for fragrance oil is correct for my recipe. Okay, now we've got through that. It's like your hardness, cleansing, conditioning, bubbly, creamy, iodine, and INS. Right here is your oils. So you have to go down through there, and I like to just play with it. If I have loads of different oils, I'll get in here and just play with it. But certain oils, you know, are really good for cleansing, like say coconut, palm oil. Lard can add for your cleansing. And then you'll have like certain ones like castor oil that adds to your bubbly. And I love bubbly soap. So then you'll have like you want for your, well, another one for hardness, like your olive oil can make a hard soap in the long run. But it's very conditioning also. Okay, so I've got at my oils now, and you just scroll till you find whatever oil you're going to be using. Me, I'm looking for castor oil. Okay, right over here it says soap qualities and fatty acids. Okay, and it's got hardness, cleansing, conditioning, bubbly, creamy, iodine, and INS. Let me see if I can brighten this screen up and see if it'll show any better. I think that's about all it'll do. Okay, we're going to go over here. This is our oil list right down through here. And we are looking for castor oil. So, I'm going to go right up here. And there's castor oil. I'm going to click on it. Then I'm going to go right over here at the little plus. Click that and it puts it in this section here. Now right over here we've got percentage or pound. I like percentage. So I'm going to leave that on percentage. You could do it through pound if you wanted to. But I'm going to leave it on percentage. Okay, then I'm going to go back over here. And I'm looking for coconut oil 76 degree. Right here it is. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to go right over here, click on this, and I brought it in. Okay. I like to do my oils first. So now I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to find olive oil. Okay, and I love using lard. Right there's your lard, pig tallow, manteca. But I'm not going to use lard in this one. So I'm looking for olive oil. Right here. I'm going to go with this olive oil right here. Like you would just buy at Walmart. If you wanted to. And I'm going to put it in right there. Then I am going to go look for mango butter. So, I'm going to scroll down here just a little bit. Went about too far, I think. Go back up here. I'm holding the camera in one hand, so it's a little bit hard. Bear with me. Okay, let's see. Go with mango butter. It's on up here. Mango seed butter right there. I'll come over here, click my little plus, and it puts it in my hole. Now we're looking for shea butter, so we're going to move right down here like so and find our shea butter. Okay. Right there it is, shea butter. Click it. Go right back up here. Click on my little plus sign, and now you see I've got my oils in here. Okay. I like using my castor oil, you know, at least 10% because I like bubbles. Now you could go lower if you want to, and your bar could end up being a lot harder. But me, I'm big on bubbles. So I'm going to put 10% on this one. Coconut oil. I will go, you know, I went all the way up to 30% on coconut oil. On this one, I'm going to go at 27%. Now you could go a lot lower. Like I said, I use 7% superfat. I'm going to go 27% on my coconut oil. Because I want my bar hard, and I used more superfat because I don't want it to, you know, coconut oil tends to make a very cleansing bar, but it makes a hard bar. So to combat on my cleansing, I want to superfat more. Okay, olive oil. I'm going to be doing 20% olive oil. You can take that olive oil on up if you want to. Mango seed butter. I think I'm going to try 21.5 on that one. So I'll put in 21.5. And we'll see what our recipe turns out to be like. Shea butter. I think I'm going to do another 21.5. That may come out. I'm going to try 22. I may be adding it wrong. I'm not good with adding in my head. Okay. Now, come down here. We got 22 in there. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click bold, multiple tabs, calculate recipe. Oops. Go back up here. You see this little message I got? That's telling me that I'm over. I'm over 0.5%. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with what I meant to go with, because I was right to begin with. Go up here. I'm going to click on there. Click OK. I'm going to go back down here. And instead of having my shea butter at 22, I'm going to put it at what I thought to begin with, 21.5. And I'm going to go back down here, and I'm going to click calculate recipe. That's 100%, it shows you. Didn't get no message this time. Then I'm going to click to view, and I have got my multiple tabs opened up. I've got my bold. Okay, there's my recipe. As you can see, 4 pounds, 38% of the water, and a 7% superfat. That's what I put in. Okay, then over here, it tells me my iodine's 51, my INS is 156. Tells me my fragrance ratio. Then I move down here, and that's where I'm going to see my ingredients. Water. It tells me in pounds. It tells me in ounces. If I were doing it in ounces, then I would go with 24 ounces of water. If I were doing it in grams, what I'm doing is, right here, it's 24.32. Okay, you see the 32? If that was 50 or above, then I would move that up to 25 grams. But it's below 50. That 32 is below 50, so I'm going to leave it at 24 grams, not grams, ounces. 24 ounces of water. But if it was above 50, it would be 25 ounces. Over here, kind of the same thing. Grams. I love grams. 689 grams. That's what I would leave it at, because my 46 is not above 50. If it was above 50, then I would move that up to 690 grams. Now, say I wanted to use something other than water. I didn't want to use water. I could use coconut milk. I could use goat milk, buttermilk, even beer to do this recipe. All I would have to do is weigh out my coconut oil, and you do want to use a scale. I know we're saying ounces here, but you don't want to do this with a measuring cup. You want to do this with a kitchen scale or a soaping scale. Mine zeroes out, and it also does ounces, and it also does grams. I always weigh it because you want to have your numbers right. So we could use, like I said, we could use milk, we could use beer. I would freeze it as soon as I measured it out. Say I was using my ounces, I would measure out, say, 24 ounces of coconut milk. Then I would pour that milk into ice trays, and I would freeze it. Then I would take it out of those ice trays, and I would either use it, or I would either put it in a freezer bag and write on my bag 24 ounces or 689 grams of coconut milk. Then I would know, how much I had in that bag, and it would be ready to use in my soap. Okay. Then say when I was mixing it, when I mix milk or beer, I like to do an ice water bath. So therefore I put ice into a bowl or the sink, and according to where you're doing it, you want to have ventilation, or either do it outside on a porch. And then I would put my container down into that ice. Then I would put in my frozen, say coconut milk. Then I would add my lye to my coconut milk, and I would stir. I would add the lye slowly. Okay, now that we've got that covered, if we move down, right here we've got our lye, NaOH. Then we've got it in pounds, we've got it in ounces, and we've got it in grams. We've got 8.70 ounces. That means we would round that, and we would use 9 ounces of lye. Or we've got 246.57 grams. So we would round that. We're above 50 on here, just like we were above 50 here. So we would use 247 grams of lye. So then we move down here. And it's, sorry about that, I went black, I don't have it plugged up. Okay, it says our oils. That's just telling us how much oils we're using in grams, ounces, and pounds. So we don't have to do anything with that because we already know. We've got 4 pounds. That's what we made our recipe for. Up there it shows you that. Okay, then fragrance. It tells you in pounds, it tells you in ounces, and it tells you in grams. Ounces, you would use 2 ounces of fragrance oil, or you would use 57 grams of fragrance oil. Okay, then we move down. Here's our castor oil, and then we've got 10% of castor oil in this recipe. It shows our pounds, it shows our ounces, and our grams. And I would do the same. I would do just like I did up here. If I were using ounces, this would be 6 ounces of castor oil. It would be 181 grams of castor oil. Then we move down, we've got our coconut oil here. 27% of our recipe, and there's our pounds. Wow. Ounces and grams. 17 ounces. Or 490 grams is what I would use. Then we move to our olive oil. 20%. Pounds, ounces, and grams. We would use 13 ounces of olive oil, or we would use 363 grams. Then we've got our mango seed butter and our shea butter, which we use the same percentage. You see there we use 21.5% of each. There's our pounds, and here are our ounces. So for each of these, our mango and our shea butter, we would use 14 ounces of each, or 390 grams of each. This is our total, total oils. Our percentage equals 100, and then there's in pounds, which is 4 pounds of oils, then our ounces and our grams. Then we go down here, and this shows us the quality of our bar. And if you look right here, we've got hardness, cleansing, conditioning, bubbly, creamy, iodine, and INS. Now, our hardness, we've got a range over here of 29 to 54. The lower number is going to be softer. So, if we move over, our recipe is 45. So, we are fairly close to our 54. 45, between 40, or I'll say 40 and up, you know, is a pretty good number. 45 to me is a fairly decent hardness. I think that's a really good hardness myself. Okay, then we've got our cleansing. Okay, that's between 12 and 22. I love to keep them, you know, unless I'm going to use, like I said, go up on my superfat, which I did do in this one, to 7%. And lots of times I will do 10% or 11%. But starting out, if you're starting out, I would keep your percentage down a little bit at first, just till you learn, just till you get some soap made under your belt. Okay? It's between 12 and 22 on hardness. We're up at 18. I love to have a lot of them down at 14 or 15. But this one is 18, and I went up on my superfat, so that helps. Okay? Conditioning. Between 44 and 69. We're at 51. So that's a good number. 51's a decent number for conditioning. If I was down here around 44, I would want to raise it. I wouldn't want to leave it there, especially with the number of cleansing being 18. Bubbly. Between 14 and 46, we're at 27. That's not a bad number. It done it again on me. I don't like my bubbles down around 14. I'd rather have them up above 25. You know, going up in the upwards 30 or even higher. Creamy. Between 16 and 48, we're at 36. So that's a really good number, in my opinion, on creamy. Okay, iodine. Between 41 and 70. We're down here at 51, which I think's a perfect number. I wouldn't want to be up near 70. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm 10 away from the 41. I'm happy with that. Okay, INS, between 136 and 165. We're at 156. I'm happy with that. If I were down here at 136, I wouldn't be happy with that. You know, a lot of people don't go by INS. Some people do go by it. They say the lower the number, the softer the bar, just like with iodine, you know. The higher the number, the softer the bar is what I've always heard people say. And then over here, you know, it tells you your lauric number, which is 13. And then these words, look over me, I may not say them right. Mysteric or mystic or something like that is 5%. Palmic is 8%. Stearic 19%. Or not percent, number 19. And then the R word, I don't even think I can say that one at all. But it's 9%. Oleic 36%. Lino something another is 5%. And then the one on the bottom is 0. But for this recipe overall, I think it, you know, I would do it if it were me. And I think I'll do another one. We'll do another one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this page out. We're back where we started. Okay. Now, if you want to do another recipe, you can either go from this recipe and just like, say, if you want to change your, well, let's just do that. But let me show you. Down here, this red button right here says Reset All. You could click that button and it'll clear out everything you've got. But since I've already got these saved in here, I've already got these in here, and I think I'm going to be using them again to show you. Now, I could do one with lard. I love lard. But I think I'll use these again to show you, these same ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here. For one, I'm not going to mess with number 1. But number 2, I think I'm going to do that in, say, 3 pounds. So I'll change that to 3. And percentage of water, I think I'm going to lower that. I'm going to lower that down to, say, 35%. And all I do is take out their 38 and put in a 35. Over here, I'm going to move up my superfat. I'm going to bring that up to 8%. I'm going to leave my fragrance oil alone. Now, say you were using essential oil. Okay, essential oil you would want, in my opinion, I like to research them because I don't like to use the same amount of essential oil for every essential oil. Some are strong, some, you know, have different qualities. So I like to do a lot of research on the ones I'm going to be using, and then, you know, figure out how much to use. Then I would just take out this if this is not the right amount, and I'd put in the right amount. Like many of them, you would, you know, you could use like 0.2. So I would change that to like 0.2. Okay, we've got that. We're just doing it for fragrance oil. And we're going to go right down here back to our, I've done showed you this. Showed you all of that. So I'm going to go back down here. I've got all my oils in here. I'm not putting in any new oils. But I'm going to go to percentage. Okay, on this one, my castor oil I want to change. So I'm going to change the percentage of it. I'm going to put that at 12%. Now you don't want, unless you're an experienced soaper, you don't want to go, you know, in my opinion, I wouldn't go above 12. Because castor oil can make soap like sticky if you don't know, you know, if you're new to it, new to making soap. So I've used very high percentages of castor oil and got away with it and done fine. But I've been making soap for many years and played with this a lot. So I'm going to put that at 12%. I think that's a good number. I think anyone could start out with that number. Okay, my coconut oil, I'm going to move it up. I'm going to bring it up to 28. Okay, olive oil, I think I'm going to put it at 17%. Yep. And then my mango and my shea butter, I think I'll leave alone. So, there we have it. And then I'm going to go down here and hope that I've got that right. I've got my, you see my multiple tabs is opened and my bold. I like that because, say, the reason I like multiple tabs is because I can open up more than one tab at once. So I can click calculate, and I can click this recipe, right here it is. But then when I've done multiple tabs, I can go right back up here, right there. I can click on that. So I brought back up my old one, and I can change something in here. But I can leave open this other one up here, right there it is. But I can change something on this recipe, and then I can come right back down here because multiple tabs is clicked, bold's clicked so you can see it good. I can recalculate this recipe after I've changed, say, an oil, click view, and it'll open up a new tab, but I still have my old one, so I can compare. I can compare the ingredients, compare the hardness, and all of that. So I'm going to click on that one. That's the one we did. And you see up here is 3 pound. We got our 8% superfat. But we're going to go down here at our lye and our water and our fragrance. Okay, water. Let me see if I can get in here. You can see. We've got in pounds, ounces, and grams. Okay, and like I said earlier, we are above 50 on these two numbers right here. We are 16.80. So that is going to be 17 ounces is what I would use of water. Or coconut milk, or goat milk, or even tea. Chamomile tea or something. But you'd want to freeze it too, in my opinion. Okay, grams, we would want to leave at 476 because we're below 50 on these two numbers. And my thing on freezing milk and freezing beer and freezing like herbal teas is, I think that the way the lye heats up, whatever you're mixing it with, destroys a lot. So just like whenever I do a beer soap, I do not boil my beer first. I open it up. I'll put it in a room where no one's going to be entering, and I let it sit open in a bowl for at least, 2 to 3 days. And then I will weigh out however much, say in this case would be 476 grams or 17 ounces. I'll weigh that out, I'll pour it into ice trays, I'll freeze it, and then it's ready. But the reason I freeze mine, many soapers just chill it. But the reason I freeze it is because that lye heats that beer or milk up very, very high, or tea. So your chances of goodness getting into your soap, in my opinion, lowers. But if you freeze it, where it's not heating it up as much, it's not as likely to scorch anything, your chances of the goodness, which in the case of beer you have hops in, which is, like an herb, has qualities. The milk has super qualities. Chamomile tea has qualities. You have a better chance of that passing on to into your soap, in my opinion. Now, that's just my opinion. People that chill it, that's fine. That's up to you, because you can do it. Okay. Then we're going to move down to our lye. We've got our pounds. We've got our ounces, which is 6.47, which is below the 50. So we're going to leave that at 6 ounces of lye. 183 grams of lye. Then this is just our total amount of our oils. Fragrance oil. Okay, when you're like that at 1.50, I would raise that up to the 2 ounce mark. Okay, 42.53 grams of fragrance oil, I'd raise that up to 43 grams. Then you're going to move down here to your castor oil, 12%, like we said. That would be 6 ounces of castor oil. Right there, because you're above the 50. Or it would be 163 grams. Okay, coconut oil, 28%. That would be 13 ounces or 381 grams. Then we go over here to olive oil, 17%, 8 ounces or 231 grams. Then we're at our mango seed butter and our shea butter, which are the same percentages, 21.5, and ounces, we would leave that at 10, or I would leave that at 10. That's my opinion. 293 grams, because we're over 50. 293 grams. Then we move down here and we want to check our quality. Hardness, between 29 and 54. We're at 45. Like I said, I think that's a good number. Cleansing, 12 and 22 is what you want to be between. We're at 19. But then again, we used 8% superfat, so I think we're all right on that. Conditioning, between 44 and 69. We're at 50. I think that's a fairly decent number. Bubbly, between 14 and 46, we're at 30. I think that's an awesome number. The higher I can get my bubbly number, the more tickled I am. Creamy, between 16 and 48, we're at 37. I think that's an awesome number. Iodine, between 41 and 70, we're at 50. So we're kind of in the middle, sort of. But we're 20 away from that 70, which I think is fine. Being in the middle, I don't want to be up here really close to the 70. Then on my INS, 136 and 165, we're at 158. So we're closer, in my opinion, to this number. So I'm fine with that. Then you go over here and again you'll see these. But that is the way that I do. I get on here and I go to the other page, right up here, right here, this one here, and I just start playing. I play with all of my oils that I know I have. I go through and I find the ones that I have, and I start playing with percentages right here. Your percentages. That's where I like to play, because I find it easier for me to just put like a 12 or an 8 or whatever number I want to in there. If I was using lard, you know, you can go up on that one, or you can keep it low. You know, if you don't have a lot of, like the butters, you could lower that. If I had palm oil, I could have used palm oil. That would have been great for bringing up that hardness. Lard will help with your hardness. It will help with your cleansing, but it also is a good conditioning. I love using lard. But I hope that this helps someone. I hope that it helps the lady in our group, our creator, that was having problems with the soap calc. There's probably more videos on soap calc on YouTube about soap calc that are better than this one. But hopefully it helps someone. And when you do go and you have your recipe that you're happy with, like say I'm happy with this one, then I could go right up here in this box. Oh, and I need to show you something else. And I could put like the name, like okay, I would put like 3 LB dot, and then say I was going to use coconut milk. Coconut milk. That way I would know, hey, I'm going to replace the coconut milk in this one. Okay, then say down here at the bottom, I am a big fan of using like colloidal oatmeal. So I could go down here and I could, you know, I could really plot this recipe out good, and I could put down like say, me for using my colloidal oatmeal, using my powdered goat milk, using pearl powder, or my hydrolyzed silk. I like to just use the teaspoons or the tablespoons. I don't even use the scale for that part, but I could write it down here. Say 1/4 teaspoon TSP pearl powder. And then I would go through and I'd just write down like my colloidal oatmeal, my pearl powder, my hydrolyzed silk, my powdered goat milk, oh, and then my whipping cream. Say I was going to use an ounce of whipping cream. I would write that, and I might write put in at trace or something of that nature. Then say I was going to use my silk powder, silk fibers. Now if I was using the silk fibers, that would be back up here where your lye and your water is at. And I would just take a pinch of my silk fiber, and when I mixed my lye into my coconut milk, and I got that mixing, you know, blending that up, stirring it, then I would add in my silk fibers so that it would melt it down, and I wouldn't have grain, you know, like the silk that was still in its form of being like little fibers. It would just melt it down. If I was going to add salt or sugar, I would add it whenever I did my lye and my water, or in this case coconut milk. Okay, and then if we move back down here, like I said, that's where you put your additives. If you knew what colors you were going to use, you could put the colors of the micas. You could put your fragrance oil. You could put the amount. Then over here, notes. Say I done a column pour. I could put, you know, I used the star column for this soap. I used 3 star columns, or I used my big wooden mold, or, you know, just whatever you want to do. If you used a tall and skinny mold, I used my tall and skinny mold from wherever, or something of that nature. It's just for your notes. Just anything you want to put in there like that. But, and then we've got up here, I need to mention this. New, it says INCI names. I don't know whether you sell or not, but if you do sell, okay, we go right here. There's our oils. If you sell products, then you're going to need these names right here. You can see them. That is our INCI names right here. That's for coconut oil, because you're going to want to put this on your label. Or even if you don't sell them and say you give them out for Christmas gifts, I would still do a label and still put this on there. That way everybody knows, you know, they've got both names for it. And that's really neat that SoapCalc is doing that now. And they are, you know, giving you these names, because lots of times you have to go online and find those names, or either find them from some of the soaping companies where you've actually bought your ingredients, and some of them don't even give you these names. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you like the video, and if you'd like to see more videos, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. That'll show you every time I upload.